Hi, I'm Dave Parsh.
I'm John Showman.
I'm Terry Speer.
And I'm Chris Coole.
And this is Riverdog Rewind. So today we have a very special Riverdog Rewind with a special breakfast session.
Yes.
Terry, great show last night.
Yes, it was. This is their second time here at Riverdog, and it was even better, I think, than the last time. It was just a spectacular show. And we usually do a breakfast for the artists who are on tour, unless they have to get up at 6 in the morning and be in South Dakota by nightfall. But if they don't have to leave too early, we really enjoy just making breakfast and hanging out. And things are, you get a whole different perspective on their life and how it all dovetails with our life and all that stuff. So it's really a treat for us when they're able to hang around a little bit.
So Chris, last time you were here, you were called the Lonesome Ace String Band. This time you were called Showman and Coole. Why is that?
Yeah, me and John sort of, whenever we play as a duo, we generally just go by our names, Showman and Coole, which are pretty good stage names. Like that's a pretty good handle.
Yeah.
And we save the Lonesome Ace String Band for when we bring a bass player in. The band used to be a three-piece with our good friend and great singer and bass player Max Malone, but Max sort of stepped away. He still plays with us sometimes. I'd say he plays about 20% of the shows, but we play with we get about 5 or 6 different bass players we play with. And yeah, it sort of differentiates between the duo and the band. So really the band is just us with a bass player. But it's sort of hard to, if you call yourself a string band and then to show up with just 2 people, it's like a bit of a heavy lift.
Okay, with that, let's get to the show.
You guys about ready?
No.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Lonesome Ace.
Both vocal monitors up. How's it going, everybody? Great to be back for Riverdog. How about a hand for Max and Otto and Abby? I'm Chris Coole, and this is John Showman. We're so glad we played some music for you tonight. Yeah. That was a original tune me and John wrote together called "You'll Be There." When we drove in here, we drove down from Lansing, Michigan, and as we approached, like we got within half an hour here and sort of got off the main highway and over the country roads. Man, I forgot how beautiful it is around here, and I think the reason it's so beautiful is it reminds me so much of the part of Ontario that we're from, and just there's a beautiful softness to the trees and everything around here, and it's so familiar to me. Just love it, and we have we do a lot of writing and recording on a lake. I've got a little family cabin on a lake in Ontario called Belmont Lake, and we go up there a couple times a year to record and write music. We wrote that last song up there. And we don't just work on music, we also do, like hippie stuff. We walk around, wander around in the forest like childs of God. Fishing under the influence, fishing, and all sorts of stuff. But anyways, it's hard not to get overwhelmed by just the majesty and beauty and sort of masterpiece of nature out there. And that's what this next song's about. It's called Peep of Day. And it's I guess the original inspiration for this song came from, remember we had that solar eclipse about a year ago, and I know this was maybe the peak spot to view it. But we also had it up around our place, and I mean, solar eclipse is an amazing thing, but I was struck by, I don't know what it was like around here, but around Toronto, it was like a real big hoop-de-doo, and it was like all the traffic jams going out of the city, and everybody's trying to get to the peak perfect spot. Perfect. Everybody had to get to the perfect spot, and running around and driving, and it wasn't amazing. Well, actually, in Toronto, it wasn't that amazing because it was cloudy. but still, it's amazing to see the change of light like that. But I sort of struck was like, that happens every morning if you get up early enough. And it's sort of, about every week I'd put one or two of the sunrises against any eclipse, and it's always just there. And nature's sort of like that, really. If you pay enough attention, it's the masterpieces everywhere. And so that's what the song's about. It's called Peep of Day. It's just about the rising of the sun. And the title comes from an old Texas fiddle tune called Peep of Day, which you're going to hear. We're going to play it at the end of the song. Against the moon and stars to begin the masterpiece. A little yellow songbird makes the forest ring. Starts the morning chorus and the trees begin to sing. The trees begin to sing. Symphony in silence, the shadow starts to lift. The clouds are set on fire and seem to offer up a gift. A single beam of sunlight cuts through the mist and cold, lands upon a white pine and turns it into gold. It turns it into gold. Sits and wonders and just lets the morning shine. sleeping, recovering from the feast. The old man sits and watches as out among the masterpiece. He comes in each morning, casts a humbling spell, remind him that the treasure never can be held. It never could be held.
You guys like Hank Williams?
Come on now.
Okay. I love Hank Williams as well. We were listening, this is a total aside, but I like to stray from the script. We were listening to that Huey Lewis and the News record, Sports, today. And he covers a Hank Williams record. He covers a Hank Williams song, it's Honky Tonk Blues. It's pretty awesome, actually. This is absolutely nothing like that. This is a really introspective Hank Williams song that he recorded. He never really recorded it as a finished product. I think he essentially made it as a demo, and it made its way onto the Mercury box collection, I guess, long after his death. And it's never really been covered by anybody, but it's a beautiful song. I hope you guys like it. It's called The Log Train. And if you will listen to the song I will sing about my daddy who ran a log train way down in the Southland in old Alabama. We lived in a place that they called Chapman Town, and every evening when the sun was low, way off in the distance you could hear the train blow. Well, the folks would come running and Mama would sing, but the supper on the table, here comes the log train. Every morning at the break of day, they grab
grab his lunch bucket and be on his way. In the winter, in the summer, in the sunshine or rain. And every morning he'd run that old log train. Well, sweating and swearing all day long, he'd shout, "Get up there, oxen, keep moving along." Oh, lower up, boys, 'cause it looks like rain. I've got to get rolling this old log train. This story happened a long time ago. The log train is silent, God called Dad to go. But when I get to heaven, to always remain, I'll listen for the whistle of the old log train. Yes, I'll listen for the whistle of the old log train.
It's a tune that Chris and I wrote pretty recently. We named it after a common household pest. Not a very well-known household pest. Have you guys ever heard of carpet beetles?
Yeah.
All right. We're in the right place. Do you have them down here? Probably in Cleveland, right? If we got them in Toronto, I know you got them in Cleveland. Anyway, that was a carpet beetle.
All right, well, I was chatting with Abby there before the set. We were talking shop and comparing notes on songwriting. We both agreed that some of the songs that connect with people, most of the ones that come really quick. And this next one came really quick. And you don't get to choose who or what you fall in love with. But when you've got the feeling and there's the opportunity to write a love song, you got to do it no matter what. This is called Champ. Well, I'll tell you something, and you know I'm not bragging, but I got me a 96 Corolla wagon. It's one part jalopy and a bit of a scamp. Some might call it a beater, but I call him Champ. Is that like golden color that they call champagne? Standard transmission and it don't break the bank. He's got a funky old stereo that only plays tapes. I've got one of Tom Petty that sounds especially great. He took me fishing for brook trout on the Great Northern Highway. We got stuck in a windstorm on the Burlington Skyway. We pushed through the snow and the rain and the ice. Yeah, it might be an old car, but isn't he nice? Will you need a mechanic? And mine's Derek Guam. He keeps Champ rolling on the road that he's on. The way I know this banjo, he knows old Toyotas. Yeah, he'll tell it to you straight and will not exploit you. Again, drum Showman. Well, you might think me loopy for writing a song to a beat-up old car that might not be long for this world, but that's the reason that I'm singing this song, so he knows I appreciate all the stuff that we've done. So if you've got an old car that don't let you down, takes you all over the country and all around the town, why not change up the oil and fill up the tank? It's the least you could do, a nice way to say thanks. We played in Lansing, Michigan last night. I think I mentioned that already, but But actually, Champ, who I was just sang a song about, rests in peace in Lansing, Michigan. A couple years ago, we were playing a gig and we were down in Lansing and we celebrated Earth Day of all times by spilling a tank of gas all over Lansing, Michigan. And that marked the end of Champ. But just, you know, a couple of these old cars, there's a moment where you have to cut your ties. The funny thing is that happened. I wrote that song, recorded it. I made a video of Champ. You can see it on. It's on YouTube. And like literally, Champ died like about 6 days later, proving once again that cars don't give a damn if you write them a song.
If you've ever wondered.
All right, well, me and, how are you doing? Are you all right? We got a few more tunes, then we'll take a break and we'll let you stretch your legs and whatnot. John Showman and I are very big fans of John Hartford. Are there any John Hartford fans? We're going to John Hartford songs for you. Yeah.
When I go on the road, I go fast and I go slow. It gets cold, don't you know? Won't get home much is here. Back and forth, up and down, heading out and going round. Waking up, coming down, won't get home much is here. When I go, I see friends, I see nights without end. It depends what they spend. I was out 90 days, I can leave any place, just erase, show my face on the road. Every day it's your turn, another verse to learn. It's a road, no return, I won't get home, much is here. And the stories I will tell, when I've none left to sell. Wonder what's happened somewhere else, I won't get home, much is here. On the road, it's your day, gotta go, gotta play. It's too short to be long, and you know. When you're on, it's so fun, you get to play for everyone. But it's cold being alone on the road. Been a long night, and that's a fact. I'll call you up when I get back. I know it's easy to lose track. I won't get home much is here. When I go on the road, I go fast and I go slow. It gets cold, don't you know? Won't get home much is here.
won't be good for anyone. Well, don't leave your records in the sun. Get all wavy and they just won't just won't play, 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 just won't play no more. Well, I had this record that I really did like. It was the last one they had in the store. I left it lying on the car back seat. Now it just won't play anymore. Well, don't leave your records inside. War won't be good for anyone. Well, don't leave your records in the sun. Get all wavy and it just won't play, 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 just won't play. No more. Hey, thanks a lot, everybody. We're going to play one more tune, take a quick break. We got records, and of course you don't want to leave them in the sun over there. We got some vinyl, we got some CDs. We even have a whole CD of John Hartford songs, if you like that type of thing. We got T-shirts, we got hats, but you know, as I always say, you don't have to buy anything. I don't want to come off like another one of these nasty capitalist Canadians, always trying to sell you things and take stuff from you. You can just come over there and say hello. We'll be hanging out. We're fascinating men to speak to. We got stories for those, jokes, all sorts of things. Recipes. I think Maxim and you guys do have CDs over there too. Oh, yeah. So they're probably fascinating. We've barely spoken to them, but even in the short interaction we've had, they seem fascinating as well. So come over and get stories from all of us, and while you're there, who knows, maybe you'll buy something. We're going to play one from a pal of ours, a songwriter that we really admire. He's from Ohio originally, named Darren Hackard. And this is called Hurricane Season, and we do have another set if you can stick around and play a shorter set next little bit there. Well, you've been listening to all those voices inside your head. Make you want to open up a bottle of pills and just lay around the bed. When the cold black water comes rushing in over your head, you're beginning to think you might be better off dead. Hurricane season's coming around again. Better hold on to what you can.
So, John and Chris, seemed like you did about 50% originals last night. Tell us about your creative process.
The creative process for us basically starts whenever we get a chance to be together in a situation even such as this. Like we could very easily, and I believe the last time we were here, we worked on some music. We had sort of a day off here. One thing we like to do is just kind of find a good environment, and generally for us, it tends to be like a natural environment. Chris has a family cottage a few hours north of Toronto. I'm lucky enough that I have one too on my wife's side, and so you know it's a lot like this. It's very much like Oberlin, very beautiful woods. There's lakes, rivers, all that kind of stuff, and it's just I don't know. It's relaxing to be surrounded by that kind of nature, and I feel like for us it really helps us kind of focus on writing melodies and maybe developing those, and then starting to put words to melodies, and I feel that every song or every piece of music we write can start off differently. It could start off as a melodic idea or even a chordal idea, and then sometimes we'll work on them together, sometimes we'll work on them separately, and then arrange it together and piece stuff together. I find Chris is great at writing, really good at writing lyrics, and so I'll take a lot of inspiration from the way he writes lyrics, and I feel like maybe one of my strengths is kind of helping to think of weird ways to make a song come together and sort of piecing stuff together, and I feel like we kind of feed off each other that way to try to write music that really feels like it's something that only we would write, and I think that feels effortless always to me, and I think I'd probably speak for Chris when I say I'm sure he feels that way too.
Yeah, and all our songs for the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, we just decided that like all our songs are co-writes, no matter what. So usually like one of us is, it's pretty obvious, like usually the person singing is probably the person who maybe like started it, but they're all co-writes. There's no
Like Lennon and McCartney.
I got you.
Yeah.
So how long have you actually been working together, and how did you meet?
John and I have been playing together it'll be 25 years next year. And it's pretty much like always in a more or less full-time band that whole time, some project. We started, John, I've lived in Toronto my whole life. John moved to Toronto in around 2000.
Yeah, I moved there in 2001 actually.
Yeah, and there was a pretty small core group of professional level bluegrass musicians, and when John came, I was like, oh great, there's an amazing fiddle player in town. And we put a band together called the Foggy Hogtown Boys. Hogtown is the nickname for Toronto, like just like Beantown, or because of the big pork industry. Anyways, but we were in this 5-piece bluegrass band. I played guitar in that band, and we did that. Probably that was like 15 years maybe, and then overlapping from that, we started Lonesome Ace, where I played banjo, and it was just a trio. And then Lonesome Ace is still going on, and then at some point, probably about 5 years ago, me and John started playing as a duo and recording. And we recorded a few albums as a duo, and so.
Can I interject? Yeah. That was very much a situational response to COVID. Just because suddenly we couldn't gather, and in Canada the restrictions were a little more restrictive.
Yeah. That changed so many things.
But we lived, maybe a mile away from each other, so we would get out where we were allowed to gather, which was outdoors, and we just started making a whole bunch of banjo and fiddle videos, and that's kind of how we sort of started. That was the genesis of the duo, I guess, as a thing in and of itself that we could then, market and perform and tour. So.
Well, we love the dynamics that you bring with each other. You sort of, you're very professional in bringing down the living space into music. So let's get back to that music. And
All right, it's the moment you've all been waiting for.
Wait a sec. So we've got to wait for Chris. I was given the finger. This one. Yes, the single index finger. Not the bird. Hey, it's the thumb. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't believe your eyes. It's Showman and Coole with the Lonesome String Band. Got any parents in the audience? Parents. No. Parents. Yeah. Parents. Yeah, I'll pronounce that more clearly next time. I got a 12-year. Huh? Okay, you know what? I'm just going to play this song for you guys. I wrote this for a couple of boys who are mine. One's 12 and one's 14. And, I'm watching them grow up, and there's so many things I kind of want to tell them and show them, and now they're old enough to understand they don't really want to hear it. When you set out in the morning, the sun is waiting for you somewhere along the way. It's hard to see the sun when storm clouds and troubles hang over your day. But the sun is there, reaching down to open up your heart and show you the sky. Where it shines, scatters all the storm clouds and lights the way for you to fly. Big changes carried on the wind. Remember, winter turns to spring. And it's time you spread your big wings. See the little birds nesting near the branches of the shelter high. One by one, without warning, all those little birds will take to the sky. And there you are, climbing towards the sun and circling, carried on the wind. And my heart knows those days are done, even though I long to carry you again. From somewhere far above, your distant voice calls to me. With your big wings up there flying free. Deep in the heart of a lonely kid, suffered so much for what he did, to give that plowboy his fortune and fame. Since that day he ain't been the same. See the man with the stage fright, standing up there to give it all his might. He got caught in the spotlight. When he gets to the end, he gets to start all over again. I got fire water right on my breath. The doctor warned me I might catch my death. Says you could make it in your disguise. Just never show the fear that's in your eyes. See the man with the stage fright, standing up there to give it all his might. He got caught in the spotlight. When he gets to the end, he gets to start all over again. Now if he says that he's afraid, you better take him for his word. For the price poor boy paid, gets to sing just like a bird. Brow is sweating and your mouth gets dry. Fancy people go drifting by. The moment of truth is right at hand. There's one more nightmare that you can't stand. See the man with the stage fright, standing up there and give it all his might. When he got caught in the spotlight, when he gets to the end, he gets to start all over again.
go home with the girls in the morning singing, I roll the boat, man, and roll it home down the river of the Ohio. I went on board the other day, see what that boatman had to say. There I left my passion loose, and they crammed me in the Canalos. So dance, will you dance all night with the broad daylight? Go home with the girls who want to sing it. I roll the boatman rolls home down the river of the Ohio. Thank you for sticking around for the second set. Appreciate it. We'll play a pretty new one. We actually just played this live for the first time last night. This is the second time we played it live. We recorded, it me on our new album. We got a new album coming out. The song is out. We released it as a single about a couple months ago. But the new album's coming out in the end of October. The album's called Big Wayne. This song, I wrote it last spring up in Canada. We were getting punked by this internet troll, and he was threatening our sovereignty. Yeah, it sort of seemed funny compared to all the other bullshit he was doing at the time, but it was pretty serious to us. At the time, I remembered a book, a John Steinbeck book, that was one of his lesser-known books that I'd read about 25 years ago. And he wrote it, I think in the early 40s. He was commissioned by the government to write it as a propaganda piece during World War II. It's called The Moon is Down. And it was written as, it's about a unnamed country, a Northern European country that's been taken over by an unnamed fascist force. And it's sort of all about, it's almost like a guidebook for how to resist. And it was distributed as sort of all over all these occupied countries at the time. And it managed to sort of get under the radar. And so after the war, a lot of these, Steinbeck was a hero in some of these countries like Norway. Because this book was ended up being like almost like a Bible for how to resist in not in a passive way, but in a sort of dehumanize your oppressor. And it's an amazing book. It's called The Moon is Down. If you want to check it out. But
Say again?
The Moon is Down. The Moon is Down. It's after a Shakespeare quote from
John Steinbeck, The Moon is Down.
Yeah. Anyways, so things were feeling a little heavy at that time for us, and I wrote this tune named after that song, The Moon is Down.
Okay, I'm going to send this one out to all the parrots in the audience. Yeah, you heard me. One really easy way to upset the female parrot is to engage in something I like to call leisure meat. Leisure meat. Leisure meat. It's meat that's leisure, and what it is I'm tuning. My brain doesn't really do two things at once. I don't really know what I'm saying. Leisure meat is kind of when you don't need to cook meat, but you cook meat anyway. This is a song about slow cooking barbecue. It's a song about pork. Do you guys like pork?
Yes.
Consensus.
Frozen there.
The thing about smoking, do you guys like pork? Do you like smoking big pieces of pork? I know there's probably some vegans out there. I'm so sorry. This song is going to be triggering. Are you a vegan? I'm so sorry.
No.
Okay.
I'm into the smoking.
All right. Okay. Cigarettes or meat? Or other things. All right.
Too many personal questions.
All right. Don't pay any attention to him. I'm telling you a story about smoking. I love to take a big piece of pork shoulder, go out into the backyard at about 5 in the morning with a case of beer. Well, 6 beers is fine. I can't really drink a case. I'm not that big. But I go out there and I fire up the barbecue about 5:30 in the morning, and I put the pork on and I crack a beer and I start to smoke it. And it takes a long time. It's like an all-day venture. And somewhere around 7:30 or 8 in the morning, are we okay here? We're fine, right? What do you mean? I thought you were looking at your watch for a minute. Like I said, I'm sort of... Only just beginning, folks. Buckle up.
John smoked a joint in early August.
So basically, what happens is around 7:30 or 8 in the morning, I start to feel the house is waking up. It's like, honey, can you feed the kids? No, I'd love to, but I have to tend the barbecue because if the fire gets too low and then the temperature drops, then the meat will spoil and all will be lost. So I don't cook breakfast for the boys. And then sometime around 9:30, a couple hours later, I get the call from the back of the house, honey, can you walk the dog? It's like, no. The reason for that is that I have to tend the fire. It's on the verge of starting to get too hot, and if it gets too hot, the meat will cook and all will be lost. It will cook too fast, it'll ruin it. So basically this goes on for a while, and I can feel the tension and rage building behind me in the house. It's a palpable thing. But what happens is, around 11 o'clock, the meat's been in for 5 hours, it starts to smell really good. And then suddenly, all the calls to action become requests for ETA on dinner. It's like, honey, what time is dinner? It's like, oh, about 6 hours from now, crack. There goes beer number 3. And that's when I know that I've won. I have few victories in my life these days. That is one of them. It's like I know I can sit out in the backyard and just smoke meat for 6 hours. It's great. So I wrote this song. I'm so proud of myself. I wrote a song about pork shoulder and smoking it, barbecue. So, you know, I told my mom about this, and I was proud of it, and she didn't even listen to the song, but it hasn't lessened my pride in this song. This song is a recipe, so I'm going to warn you that if you've never smoked anything before, like in a barbecue, and you want to, you know, cook a piece of pork shoulder, just follow this recipe. And at the very least, you're going to get something that comes out of your barbecue looking like maybe a piece of blackened meteorite. Once you like tear it apart or cut it open, sorry to the vegans, sorry, this is a little graphic. It's going to be like pink and moist and really amazing. It's really good. It's hard to ruin pork shoulder. You get a fine fat cap on it, and it's almost impossible to kill. So here's a song about pork shoulder. Well, I got me an 8-pound pork shoulder today, and a cheap cut of meat will smoke best, is what they say. Hit it with the rub, overnight it in the fridge. You could leave it on the counter too. I can't wait to get low, slow smoking in my barbecue. For the rub, a tablespoon of sugar and pepper to start. 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika, cumin, garlic, and salt. Then a teaspoon of dried chili powder, the hottest one that you can stand. I can't wait to get cooking on my pork shoulder smoking. Can't wait to get cooking on my pork shoulder smoking. Get up and start cooking at 4:45. Smoking 6 hours at a temperature of 225. Then 6 more hours wrapped in butcher paper with the heat back a notch or 2. I can't wait to get smoking and I love to get cooking with you. Can't wait to get smoking and I love to get cooking. Well, pulling it apart is messy, but it tastes so fine. If you like, you can simply cut it up against the grain. Carolina mop is easy like a Sunday morning, but any old sauce will do. I can't wait to get low, slow smoking in my barbecue. Can't wait to get low, slow smoking. Yeah, I want to get smoking and I love to get cooking with you. Cooking on my pork shoulder smoking.
I just couldn't get that last line out. I'm sorry. All right, well, folks, guys, thank you so much for coming down tonight. I want to thank Deborah and Terry. You know, we travel all around the world. We just got back. The last place we played was Denmark. We were in Germany before that. We travel, lucky enough, travel all over your beautiful country down here. In the States and all over Canada and all sorts of places, and I gotta tell you, this doesn't exist in very many places, stuff like this. It really doesn't. It's when we were walking back from the absolute perfect dinner that any musician would want to eat right before they play, which is no small thing, but the perfect thing any musician would want to eat, back to our beautiful place that we're staying back there on those beautiful grounds and waiting to play on this incredible stage. And we were talking about, like, man, what an amazing gig this is. And there are other places like this, but boy, you've got to travel around. And I'm sort of preaching to the choir here, but just know that you've got something very, very special here, and keep coming and supporting it. And then I always tell people, it's like, try to bring some friends out who like are cool, but maybe they don't really know about this live music thing, because you know what this music is. This music, you have to see it live, right? You get like live music. It's in this day and age with what's going on and the phones and all that. When people see live music, good live music, it blows their minds. And so keep trying to bring more people. You keep coming, but also try to bring some people into this world, because this is very self-serving. I just want to play here again in 2 years. Right? Thanks again to Abby, Max, and Otto for doing amazing music. That was perfect. I would have been very happy to sit back there and drink whiskey and listen to them play all night. Anyways, here we are. We'll finish off with a couple of old fiddle tunes, and yeah, we'll see you somewhere down the road. we'll play a real mellow tune to set you off here. This is one I wrote. Never know what to say about this. It's about, the song is about, it's about thinking, but not knowing, but being cool with that. Sort of loving it. And it's called Upon the Mystery. My life is small, but it's not broken. So I leave my grievances unspoken. Try to think about all the little things that make you feel alright. But then some wayward sentimental feeling can roll right in and leave me reeling. And I'll be damned if I could tell you where it comes from and where it even goes. Free will, luck, and fate. I like to think about them, but I always lose my place. I'm still trying to get solid on the way to be. I'm leaning hard upon the mystery. I knew a gal once, she came unfurled, trying to make some sense of this old world. Sometimes she'd come down to the bar and we'd drink after the show. Once she told me all those songs you were just singing, all they are is just beginnings. But the verses in the chorus, well, that's no guarantee for what'll happen in the end. I'm still here thinking about what she said. It seems so pure and heaven sent, 'cause she was just trying to share with me her point of view upon the mystery. Sometimes I wake up only to find I'm unsure on my feet and in my mind. And the song that I was singing is not the same song I was singing yesterday. But I got no secret I can tell you, brother. Said lay one foot down in front of the other. Think about all those little things that make you feel alright. Yesterday it all made sense, now it beats me where all that sense went. On one hand I'm content to just let it be, but on the other hand I'm sitting high up on the mystery. The view is pretty, but it's sure not plain to see. I'm leaning hard upon the mystery.
Welcome back. I want to take the time to thank the Oberlin Cable Co-op and Dan Canalos of Soundwaves for the use of the cameras. And Terry, another great show.
Yep, they sure did not disappoint. We find it particularly amazing that two people can fill that barn with so much sound and with no high-tech tricks or looping or whatever, just the real deal. They're so good, we can't wait for them to come back. And what's next for you guys? I know you have an album coming out, and where you headed and all that stuff.
Well, I'll talk about the album a little bit. Chris and I have been sort of making music kind of non-stop ever since pandemic, really. And when I talked earlier about the fact that we both are fortunate enough to have places to go to with sort of nice, spaces where we can kind of be in a creative headspace and work on stuff. And I really got into recording over the pandemic, and I've had a lot of really good mentors, friends of ours, mutual friends, and just we know a lot of guys in studios. We've been making records for 25 years.
So this was a self-record?
Yeah, I've been recording, mixing all of our music for the past 5 years, and it's been a real interesting and fun journey for me personally. But as a duo, what we do is we'll sometimes just rent gear from the local music store that has a great assortment of stuff. We don't use anything too high tech, but we both, between the two of us, have a pretty good collection of decent microphones that we can use, and then we can just set up very, very sort of bare bones but effective recording sort of environments. And I really like recording in a space where it's not a pristine studio, and where there may actually be, you might hear a bird or something chirping in the background, because honestly, once you start recording stuff and then once you get into mixing, it's so completely different from live music. They're completely different art forms.
Yeah.
And you can take a recording and you can do anything you want with it. And if they're bird sounds, like, you can use them or not use them, it doesn't matter. You can get rid of them. So, and I think with just the digital technology now, there's very little that you can't change. And I love that, because I feel like what we do is super organic anyway. So I'll use this organic vibe that we have in the music, and I'll cut it into bits and rearrange it and whatever we need to. I mean, sometimes we'll have awesome live takes in the studio and we'll touch them, and that's great. That's a track. But we made a demo of a song to give to a bass player just a little while ago. And we made the demo super roughly, just with one, like a
58 one-room cabin.
You could hear a sound check going on in the background from the main stage, and so I had to pause a few times. And then we went into the studio and gave the recording we went to a proper studio and gave the recording to a friend of ours. And he was a great player, and we went in the studio, and it was so flat. And I was like, oh my God, I kept going back to the demo that I'd kind of worked on and mixed and cut together, and I was like, this is so much better. And so we just ended up using that, and that's on the record that we're about to release. And
So what's the name of that record?
why don't you talk about the record?
The record's going to be called Big Wing, which is actually the title track. It's one of the songs that John, actually it's the song that you just mentioned. So it was half original and some covers, and we've actually released 10 tracks on it, and 9 of them we've released as singles over the past 2 years. So they're actually, the album, most of the album is out already, but I mean, that's what they sort of encourage you to do, is be releasing singles all the time. And we enjoy doing that because it sort of allows us to always be recording and to be working on smaller, you can just work on one thing and it doesn't have to feel like
it's 2 years.
Yeah, so anyways, this is a sort of our favorite 10 tracks that fit together that we've recorded over the past 2.5 years or so. And that's coming out, I think it's October 23rd. Will be the streaming release, and then in December we'll release the vinyl. And we would love to come here and record someday.
Oh yeah, all right.
If we ever have a few days off, this would be a perfect place. So maybe we'll do that somewhere down the line.
Yeah, I appreciate what you say about recording music and playing live are really two different art forms. And there is nothing more special than hearing these two guys live. So where can they hear you coming up?
Well, I mean, on this tour, we're just on the second day of a tour. Tonight we're headed to Newport, Kentucky. Then we're going to Louisville, Kentucky, then Nashville, Chattanooga, Johnson City, Tennessee.
Some good spots
up to West Virginia, to Thomas of the Purple Fiddle, and then and then up to Wellsboro, Pennsylvania, the art center there, and then we're playing a festival up just outside of Buffalo and Darien Center called the Folk Faces Festival.
Okay.
Then we're home, and but we're pretty much, we really want to look on our website and follow us on the social media, because we're out fairly often, so we'll get to
Well, people all over the country see these videos, so if you live anywhere near any of those spots, be sure and see these guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
We'd love to have you.
Really
Thanks.
wonderful gig you guys.
So Terry, tell them about our website.
Oh, well, okay, if you want to find out what's happening here at Riverdog, just go to riverdogmusic.com, and you'll see not only our schedule, but there's also a link to our YouTube channel, which has lots and lots of videos of prior performances, and most of them are photographed and edited by my friend Dave here, and he's getting really, really good at it, so I'm sure the one you're just looking at is really good. So there you go.
So I want to thank you all. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
See you all next time.
See you down the road.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching Riverdog Rewind. So Chris, last time you were here, it was you were called the
Lonesome string band.
That's good. I'll keep that. The hardest name to pronounce in show business.
Lonesome Ace String Band. Okay. And Cable Co-op and Dan Canalos and Soundwaves for the use of the cameras. Terry, another great show.
Yep, they certainly did not disappoint, and we find it particularly amazing that the two humans can get on. Oh, there's a good blooper there.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what came up?